What's up, everybody? Hey, hey. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat, please, 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 please. We're gonna make it work tonight, everybody. Check, check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Loud and clear. You gotta love technology. You gotta love it. And I'm back. Hey, it's like it never happened, right? It's like it never happened. We're here, and we're back. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. No clue. Glad to be here. But no stinking idea what was going on with that. So anyway, we're going to just move on from it, you know? We're just going to move on from it. How's everybody doing tonight? Woo! Heck yeah. Heck yeah. How are you doing? Okay, let me just fix a few other UI things. I don't know what happens, like what mites or rodents exist in my computer from Thursday to Tuesdays, but something happens. Something happens. And people, like, as soon as I log in, it's like, hey, it's time to stream, baby. Moscow rule number 9, technology will always fail me. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? But you know what? It's not failing me now. So we're gonna do it. So everybody, welcome back. I was trying to get S rank in time trials. Godspeed, some dude. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yo, it's been a long day. I'm not gonna lie to you today. I have been up since 3 a.m. 3 a.m. my time. So if I'm looking a little haggard, that's why. I don't know why either. Like, I guess maybe yesterday I had a little bit more caffeine than normal, but woof. It is, it's been crazy. But if you follow me on Twitter, then you know that I definitely got up and I played Tears of the Kingdom and I beat it this morning. Just kind of hanging out and stuff because I couldn't sleep, right? But I finally, after 205 hours, beat Tears of the Kingdom. And what a banger game. Oh my gosh. Like, there's lots of great games this year. Tears of the Kingdom, that finale just about sealed the deal for me as far as like what is the best out there. Let's see, you say I won't be able to contribute at all as I have not played the game, but I did want to say love what you do, man. Oh man, thanks. You have the same passion for Final Fantasy that I have for Assassin's Creed, and I love it. Ah, heck yeah, down to chill. That's it, that's it. So yeah, you may be able to contribute a little bit. We ask questions that aren't just about Final Fantasy by any means. So anyway, I will say that it is, you know who won't fail me? Technology. Technology is going to fail me. You won't fail me, Leon. You won't fail me. You'll recognize my name more here than over on YouTube. Oh, I see. Noted. Good to know. I do recognize you. How are you doing tonight? How you doing tonight, Slasher? All right, so here's the deal, everybody. Welcome to the Final Fantasy XVI lecture playthrough. My name is Wade, aka ProfNoctis, and I am an actual university professor at the University of Alabama, where I teach about religion and a number of other things, humanities, through video games, including Final Fantasy. And I am best known for my work in Final Fantasy XV. It was the work of my dissertation, learning to teach Judeo-Christian kingship through a video game. That's how I became a doctor. That's how I became a professor. That's how I do what I do. So we are making our way through Final Fantasy XVI, and if you are just hopping in here, we will play a little bit, we stop a little bit, we do a quick little mini lecture, and then we go back to the game. And we're making our way through. I'll say this, though. Tonight is going to be a short lecture stream, so class is going to be shortened. And if this were actually in my classroom, the class would, like, lose their minds. They'd be like, yes, thank you, Dr. Langer, you're the best. We love that sort of thing. But we are going to need to cut class a little bit short tonight. Mainly because I need to sleep, to be honest. I've been up since 3 a.m., but I did not want to miss this. The other thing is, I want to be able to, time my streams just right. So you know that we are quickly approaching the scene with Dion and Bahamut and that whole chapter. And I, based on a YouTube goal that I set, once I hit 500 followers or subscribers or whatever, I was like, I'm gonna cosplay as Dion. Hey, thank you for following, Slasher. Thank you so much. That's so weird that you're following, because I feel like I interact with you all the time on Twitter, but I guess this is like one of your first times over here or whatever. So hey, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. But I am going to cosplay as Dion when we get to the Bahamut Dion stream in a little bit. But it is actually going to be another week before that is up, so I'm shooting for that 2 weeks from tonight, which means we've got to kind of extend this tonight on Thursday and then next Tuesday. The following Thursday is going to be fall break at the university, and so I'm going to be out of my normal routine, but then we will be back then. So that just lets you know a little bit of what is coming up soon. Tonight, though, we are going to be piddling around doing some side quests for a girl named Mid, and I've never known anyone that lived up to their name quite as much as Mid does. Her quests in this game, they're not my favorite. If you saw my side quest video, you know that they're not my favorite. Not the worst thing in the world. Many of them are okay, but Mid's quests particularly are brutal. So anyway, without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get into it. Okay, let's see. There we are. There's Clive, and we are on our way back to the hideaway, everybody. So let's see. I hope everyone is doing great. What is my favorite polytheistic religion to study? Don't need details, just curious. So that is actually an interesting question that could pique a lot of curiosity. Sometimes I actually ask some of my students actually ask that same thing, and I have a tendency to say Old Testament Judaism. Because, believe it or not, they are incredibly polytheistic during those days in the wilderness. It is why they are constantly going over to Baal and to others. So there is that. So anyway, that may be a cop-out, but my primary study is in Judaism, particularly in Hebrew Bible, and especially how it relates to kingship narratives in the New Testament in the Christian scriptures. So there is that. I don't know if that's a cop-out for you. Beyond that, though, I love Babylonian religion. I absolutely love it. I love the stories. Anything that we're going to find in Babylon and Persia, those are some of my favorites. I did see your side quest video. Thought it was really well put together. Hey, thank you. Made some solid points. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The same way they have chocobo riding mechanics, they also have third-person aim mechanics. Ain't that the truth? Some dude, yes, they absolutely do have those things. Okay, let's get to the hideaway, everybody. Sweet Torgal. Hey, Karuai. Could have been like shoot down the boulders before they hit the caravan. Yes.
I'd better give Otto the good news.
Guy might live up to his name as well. that's deep lore. Final Fantasy II reference there. Yes. Okay, let's do it.
Welcome home, Sid.
Y'all have been looking at this new teleprompter camera that is being publicized all over Twitter about streaming and all that stuff. I need a teleprompter badly. The way that I rig up my teleprompting technology for videos is no good. But I would also like it because it would help me to read the chat better. So we're also going to probably do a few side quests tonight, just to kind of do some of those, because I am woefully underleveled.
Clive, you're back. I am. And with glad tidings for once. Hugo Cooper is no more.
He is no more. We did that.
I'll be. All of our comrades who lost their lives back at Sid's place be smiling down at you right now.
We had a stolus from Lubor saying Drake's fang had fallen. I expect that was your doing as well, was it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a long story.
One
Yeah,
for the
it was a
history books,
long
I'll
story.
bet.
It was amazing.
Welcome home, Clive.
It's good to be back. You look better.
I feel it. Which means I'm coming on your next little adventure. You're not leaving me behind again.
Wouldn't dream of it. Otto.
Awesome. I like our little team, our little family here.
Movements since I've been away. Shouldn't you be putting your feet up? If you really want to know, go and have a word with Vivian. Thank you. I will.
All right. Vivian. Vivian is our resident scholar. If you don't remember who she is the professor in the hideaway around here. So she gives us these miniature lectures, much more flashy than the lectures I give.
Ah, the conquering hero returns. And with hardly a scratch on
You have
him.
no idea what I've been through.
May have picked up one or two.
Well, the fact that you came straight to me instead of visiting our resident physiker suggests that you picked up something more important. A scent. The scent of Waluders.
Very
Waluders.
same. But whatever plans Kupka was hatching with the royalists, he took them to his grave. As did his men. Slaughtered by the orcs who'd taken over the Fang. Orcs, Vivian. I've never seen such creatures in Storm before. The Waluders must have ferried them over from Ash, but why? Why work to rescue Kupka only to invade his home, the mother crystal of an allied nation, and let both fall? It makes no sense.
Do you know the tale of the blind men and the Adamantus? One can often be led astray by focusing too closely on individual details. One must instead see the bigger picture. And what bigger picture is there than my map?
To the map. Y'all, these are some of my favorite parts of the game. These lectures. I want to try to emulate this in my classes.
The kingdom of Walud claims dominion over all of Ash. It is a nation forged by the bloody conquest of Barnabas Tharm, the dominant of Odin. The Canvarian War of Independence in 849. The Battle of the Twin Realms in 865. The Battle of Belinus Tor in 873. Wheresoever his armies fought, Odin was found where the fighting was fiercest. But of late, the warrior king appears to have laid his sword to rest. Battle rages for control of the crystalline dominion. Yet Tharm sends not a single ship in support of his Dalmekian allies. Meanwhile, the Blight ravages great swathes of Ash. Yet warlike Walud shows not the faintest interest in laying claim to untouched lands. So why go to the trouble of sending an army of orcs into the heart of Drake's Fang, only to make no attempt to claim the Mother Crystal for Walud? It can hardly be for lack of men. Tharm's armies rival any in the Twins. No. We have not seen the last of the Waluda standard. Odin will ride again. It is but a question of when. And on that day, who will be trampled underfoot? In summary, I know not to what end the royalists betrayed Kupka. I know only that it is part of some broader scheme. A scheme tied to the ambitions of one man.
King Barnabas.
But there is no need to wallow in confusion. If one is to cure a sickness, one must first identify the symptoms. And your Lord Uncle has volunteered to do just that by keeping an eye on the royalists' movements.
He's really throwing himself into this.
Indeed he is. Which means all that remains for us to do is await his reports. Well, not quite all in your case. The people of the Hideaway must hear the news. Justice has been done. Hugo Kupka is dead. The wounds he left that night are still raw, especially for those who lived with Sid the longest. Tell them that those wounds might finally begin to heal. Consider it the price of today's instruction.
I've never known you to be sentimental.
What can I say? I am only human. And we are, all of us, sentimental animals at heart.
I love her. She is so good.
Very well. I'll go and spread the word.
You know, this is a really kind of powerful sort of thing because this is the practice. In our lectures together, we oftentimes talk about how let me zoom in. We oftentimes talk about how each of these mythos, these stories, convey different attributes of the divine, and Clive is almost like a collector of all of these divine attributes. So just to recap, we've talked about how Rama, or Sid, conveyed the attribute of divine provision, this providing of safety and a number of other things. We've also talked about how Garuda is an embodiment of control, especially in situations where it seems that things are out of control. We've talked about how Ifrit is wrath or fury to some degree, wrath. We've talked about Shiva being a number of things, but among those, love, maybe mercy, compassion. And while that love and compassion can drive her to do things to promote life, it can also provoke her to do destruction and death, and that's kind of an interesting piece. With Titan, we talked about how the divine attribute at play was power, a craving for power, the desire to have influence through strength. And with Clive assimilating that power into himself, now that threat of destruction is gone. And so this is a really interesting philosophy of religion. Once a piece or a negative piece of the divine is quelled, this is where we begin to get into, it's actually a Greek word, Euangelion, which is that idea of good news. And it is the idea of spreading. This is where in Christian traditions we get the word evangelize, evangelism. It's talking about the divine news that is coming to humanity and to people, which is really, really interesting stuff. Yeah. Hey, 8-Bit Steve, what's up? What's up? Love that. Nice little hand. So, hello. Leon, yeah. So this idea of power, we talked about that, and it's a little bit on the nose because of his body and his structure. And while you could say things like there's some creation components to that, I think that creation is something that we'll see a little bit later. Wink on. So there is that. Some dude, heck yeah! I saw that during the cutscene. Congratulations on the Garuda S rank fight. That is quite a feat. So well done. All right, let's get back to it because we got a little bit of work to do tonight. Preach on, brother. Yeah, I think it's really interesting the way that this game kind of riffs on the philosophy of religion. Anytime there's a revelation from the divine, there's always a response. You see this regardless of religion. Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, anytime there's a great revelation in one's religious undertaking, a heart strangely warmed, to use John Wesley's piece, or a vision of nirvana in Eastern pieces, there's oftentimes a response of telling that story to others, to the community. I think it's really interesting here. So that's what Clive's doing here. He's telling the story, offering that Euangelion, that good news to the people.
Well, someone looks pleased with himself.
Well, welcome, lady. Glad you're here.
It's true what I'm hearing, then.
Nothing escapes you, Lady Karen. It's true. Kupka is dead.
No more looking over our shoulders, then. Good. I'm starting to get a crick in my neck. Don't let it go to your head, though.
Dude, I have not. So I was incredibly busy this weekend, a little bit out of town and all over the place. So I am going to check into that over the next couple of days. I'm trying to get midterm grades in and all kinds of stuff. So I'm a little swamped with putting in some of those things. I'm a little behind on grading, but I do need to check the Discord. Everybody, if you have not joined the Discord, there should be a link coming up sometime from Streamlabs over here, or Cloudbot, whatever it is. But we have great conversations over in the Discord, ProfNoctis' classroom. I will check that out. I look forward to reading it, some dude.
Blackthorn, do you have a moment?
What is it? I'm busy.
I wanted to tell you that Hugo Kupka is dead.
Hugo Kupka is dead.
I can't tell you how long I've been waiting to hear those words. This is it then.
I like that, Leon. I like that a lot.
You Sid.
I'll try to live up to the name.
I like that idea. I like likening it to Atlas, and that idea of stability and endurance. I think that those attributes may, in some ways, convey Final Fantasy XV's version of Titan maybe a little bit better. Maybe that's also really on the nose, simply because he's holding up that meteor in the middle of the Disc of Kothos. But I think that's really interesting. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. All right, let's go talk to Harpocrates. You would have liked my wall of text arguing Shiva's destruction. Yeah, and that wall of text that you put up that night as well, talking about Shiva's destruction, it led to some really interesting conversations. Well, I'm still not quite there as far as Shiva being this god of destruction. I am much more on board with a tying in of that Deuteronomy chapter 30, Moses, or God through Moses saying, I set before you life and death, both prosperity and destruction. And that destruction or life can be a part of the direction of the will. So really, really interesting. I know I will, but Final Fantasy 15 Royal for Christmas and join your class next semester. Oh man, it's going to be so stinking good. One thing I'll say about the Final Fantasy 15 class, and then we'll get back to this. You absolutely need to get Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. But here's one thing that I'll say about it, and I need to make my face big so that you can look right into my eyes. When it comes to Final Fantasy 15, and when we do that next semester, it will have a much more stringent, syllabus. Basically, asking you to, if you're playing along with me, to play along to a certain part before that Tuesday or Thursday or whenever we end up streaming next semester. Simply because it's going to be going along with the class. So interesting stuff. Can you drop it in the Discord to... Yeah, that's to Leanne. Great. Okay, let's get back to it. I wish I could give y'all like actual course credit.
Clive, have you come seeking the gift
Be
of
fun.
knowledge?
No. To share mine, actually. Hugo Kupka is dead.
I love that he adds like a subtle R at the end. Hugo Kupka.
Can it really be true?
Look, he's crying.
These punk kids.
He is. The big baby.
That
And with good
goldfish
reason,
fresh
children.
and young.
These are tears of joy. We must offer up a prayer to your parents that the heavens might weep with us. There shall be no lessons today, only thanksgiving and merrymaking. Go, put away your things.
Oh,
Right? Brilliant.
Finally, a new dawn has broken.
It has.
Thank you, Clive. I cannot wait to share the good news.
Hippocrates. After Kupka fell,
rude as heck, kids. You're right, lady.
came to me. I need to know what he is. Have you learned anything?
Alas, no,
No.
and not for want of trying. I have scoured nigh every historical tome in our collection and found nothing. Not even the sort of conspicuous absence that might suggest a concealment of fact. One is almost tempted to conclude that such a creature never existed.
But I saw him. With my own eyes.
I don't doubt that you did. Alas, it seems you are the only one who has. To others, he reveals naught. We see only that which he leaves in his wake, like some terrible force of nature beyond the ken of mortal man.
Some dude, say more.
Bringer of
What
death.
did you learn?
Whether the Ultima you met with was the being itself, or merely another projection of its power,
I like that.
I know not. But until I do, my investigations shall continue.
Thank you. It means a lot. Right. Let's see if Otto has anything else for me.
Yeah, I could see some of that being taught by basically Aristotle among them. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm telling you, it's true. I heard it from Otto's own lips.
Hugo Kupka is dead. His name is concerningly similar to Harpocrates. I hope you'll enjoy my shenanigans. Yes, in the crossfire.
You barely sat down since you came home. Vivian got you running errands or something?
Just spreading the word.
Well, we are running errands. That's what this part of the game is about. Errands.
So, the professor's got a soft side, has she? I'd never have guessed.
No. She was right, though. Everyone was glad to hear the news.
Ah, but you ain't told everyone. I can think of plenty of friends back at the old hideaway who'd sleep more peacefully for knowing. Not least of all Sid. You should tell him.
You're right. I should.
It's
And I will.
an interesting.
When you do, be sure to take Mid with you. She's been going at it hammer and tongs down at that workshop of hers, trying to do her father proud. I can't remember the last time she visited the old sod's grave.
It's kind of an interesting
I'll suggest it.
thought on death and communion with those who have passed on, doing honor to their legacy. Kind of interesting to think about with them. All right, let's run on down here.
Think Mid might need some help.
I know that Mid needs help tidying up the workshop, among other things. What's up, supportive? Welcome.
All right, Clive? What do you want?
I'm going to visit Sid, and I thought you might like to come with me.
Sorry, I'm too busy for all that right now. I've got to get this thermal displacement stack sorted.
Thermal...
Displacement stack. Here.
And this is for...
Only the fastest finest ship the world has ever seen. The Enterprise.
The Enterprise.
Me and my dad designed it together. Where other vessels rely on the fickle winds.
Does
to drive
anyone
them through the
remember which
water,
Final Fantasy
ours
game
is fitted with mithril
introduced the
engines. Those things have got
Enterprise?
more push than a behemoth in a bad mood, and more heat than all the hells put together.
Ironically,
Which
the
is
catalyst
where
of
the
honoring the
stuff
dead
comes in.
is the death of another. Yeah,
I may
that's
have already talked some tight-lipped shipwrights into putting the hull together for me in a little dockyard. in
something
Canada.
to consider when it comes to grief
Thing is,
and mourning,
it's
all
so
of that kind of
involved
stuff,
that I'm
and
running
also
behind
this
it,
idea of
so to hold things
vengeance
up
and
over
what
a
role
shipyard.
does revenge play
Come and see me
in
dad, though,
helping
when I'm done.
people
Whenever
kind of
that
move on.
is.
Glad to see the professor has recovered from the flu and class is back in session. Roll Tide and Tennessee Hate Week. Yes.
I need some
50
help.
Shades of Babe, thank you so much.
The sack will be made up of 3
You
major
know that it is
components.
Tennessee Hate Week.
There's the plating.
It's that
channels hot vapors away from the
puke
engine.
orange. That
Helm over the top, that
inside of
disperses
a
all that heat
pumpkin
into the air.
orange.
And the shielding around the sides. That
I
stops the rest
hate
of the ship from
Tennessee,
going up in
man.
flames.
Enterprise FF3, your bottom tier.
Probably best to take it
Ooh,
one piece at a time.
Then you'll need to start with the plating. Everything else.
What do
takes
you
on to
make
it.
of the Final
I've got the
Fantasy
designs and the list of
4
materials here. Show these to
Enterprise?
Blackthorn. He'll know what to do.
Love that one.
I can't make head nor tail of them.
Luckily, you don't need to.
You may be wondering why I'm talking through this part. Usually I try to stay quiet for these scenes. Not for mid. This is where the Final Fantasy community and I come to great disagreement. Many of them absolutely adore Final Fantasy V, and therefore Final Fantasy V's mid, who is the grandson of Sid in that game. She is a callback to that, and boy oh boy, I don't love that. But somehow she's more irritating. Was it Final Fantasy III? It was. You did go around telling people that someone is dead, but then they also view it as their life now being safe. Yeah, some dude, I think you're right. Final Fantasy III was. Final Fantasy IV is your second favorite game, the PS1 version. None of the SNES cuts, so it was very hard, but very enjoyable. Oh, man. I love Final Fantasy IV. Back in my day, it was called Final Fantasy II on the Super Nintendo in North America. Man, I love that game. It was my first one. I'll tell you a story about it in a minute.
Can I ask a favor?
Out with it.
It's for mid.
This my last chance to say I'm otherwise engaged. Spare myself the arseache. Go on then. What is it this time?
She said you would know. Here.
Here's some thermal plating designs, Blackthorn. Do they make you sad? Do we need to go deal with blacksmith trauma again?
Well, I don't know what the hell you'd want this for, but I can make it.
8, 6, and 4. Great picks. Oh my gosh.
Get
Great
Cavanaugh
picks.
in here, will ya?
All right.
So Mid's roped us all in here again, has she? Typical.
Hey, thanks for the sub, supportive. Thank you so much.
I'll do what I can.
Oh my gosh, you rock.
And,
Thank you. Or thank you for the gift sub. Excuse me. Thank you for the gift sub, Leon. Thank you.
This plating.
Appreciate that. Oh my
Usual
gosh.
full grade steel won't work. We need something that can get very hot, very fast, and still.
That was
keep
very
its
kind
shape.
of you. Thank you.
That means an alloy. Something that won't break or buckle at the temperatures she's talking about. Which is where you lot come in. I need materials, and I've got my work cut out already. You'll have to fetch them.
I'm gonna find you
There's
some
a special kind of
materials.
sand I'm after that you can only find out in the Velcroy. Stardust, they call it.
Back to the
For the
desert.
rest of the stuff,
It's
you
our
usually should
favorite.
have it in stock. It just needs buying and bringing back here.
Well, we'll get it done quicker if we split up. One of us should probably give you an hand collecting the sand.
And the other can go and get the rest from this supplier.
Right then.
We're all friends. It's cool how this community's kind of come together, huh? It's kind of neat. I enjoy hanging out with y'all and talking to you on Discord.
You going after the Stardust then, are you?
When I'm able to check Discord.
Lucky souls is going with you.
Not recently. Let's bring old Otto, because Gav came with me last time, I'm pretty sure. I think that's right. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna bring Otto with us.
Otto, you're with me.
All right.
Where do we find this Stardust, and how will we know it when we see it?
There's a river that runs through the southern reaches of the Velcroy. It's the black sand that washes up on its banks.
I'm guessing you'll be needing sackloads of the stuff. Might be worth our importers at the Dalimil Inn. I'll head down there. See about finding us a wagon.
All right.
Thanks, Otto.
By the river.
You two take care, eh? I'll go and see the supplier.
Just don't let the bastard fleece you, eh?
He wouldn't do that. He's Blackthorn's mate, isn't he?
Best of luck.
So, in Final Fantasy IV, there was that was the first Final Fantasy that I ever played. Well, not the first I ever played. It was the first I ever beat. I rented Final Fantasy IV. Uh-oh, looks like we got a bot or somebody. So we're gonna knock that out real quick. Do 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 do. Sorry about that. Let me knock that out real quick. Bow, 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 bow. But yeah, I'll tell you, Final Fantasy IV was the first Final Fantasy game that I ever beat, and it was in no small part because my father and I played through it together. And I would sit in his lap, and he would help me sound out words and all that kind of stuff. And so it was a really sweet sort of time. Okay, we'll see if that kind of works a little bit. Okay, but yeah, it was really sweet. And so those were some of the best memories. And in fact, it reminds me, he was not very well versed in mythology, and so he would routinely mispronounce things. So behemoth, he would pronounce behemoth, and so I started saying that. Bahamut, he said behemoth, which was great, and Leviathan, and this was more of a spelling error in the Super Nintendo. Like the number of characters, and so it looked like Levitan, and so I called Leviathan Levitan for years. It was really funny. He has since learned to say the words, but that was a very sweet memory. And I'll tell you, it actually included one of one of my favorite scenes in all of Final Fantasy, and I'll show it to you right now. It's right behind me. I actually had a painting commissioned. You can see it right there, right in the middle, right there. This is the scene of Cecil, and yes, I call him Cecil, becoming a paladin. And I love that scene because Cecil had done some like evil things, some like wicked atrocities toward the city of Mysidia and others. And this was his redemption story, his kind of comeback. In fact, Clive has a similar one in here. But I love that, especially in its connection to like my dad, because my dad went through, my dad and I went through some pretty tough years, where We actually didn't speak for a few years, and that scene actually helped me have mercy and compassion for my dad. So that is also why I got that scene painted, to remind me that the worst thing is not the last thing, and that people can change, and that there's good in people no matter what bad they do. So there's a little inspiration from real life for you tonight based on Final Fantasy.
Otto, sorry I'm late.
Oh, Clive. I had a quick scout about, and I reckon this area is our best bet.
That's beautiful water.
Blackthorn's the only one who thinks smithing with his stardust stuff's a good idea. It's just lying here, waiting for any old fool to fill his boots.
But unlike any old fool, you thought to bring a wagon.
Well spotted. Now get filling.
It is a shame that we have such gorgeous water in this game, and you cannot swim in it, you cannot traverse it, you cannot fish in it. All I want is to fish. All I want is to fish. That's the fisherman in me. Let me touch the water, Yoshi P. That's all I'm asking. Oh my gosh, is it too much? Y'all, when I was watching the Rebirth gameplay and I saw Cloud and everybody start swimming, I screamed. I was so excited. That was one of the most exciting things in that trailer. It's like the water can be interacted with. Can we climb? Oh, this is not Tears of the Kingdom, that is for sure. There we go, a little bit of a climbing. Look at that climbing mechanic. And no weapon breaking, there's that. You can't make water so pretty and then gate it off. You are so correct. I'm jumping over items like it's Final Fantasy XV. Where we at? Where we at? Where is that final one? Is it high? Is it low? I'm looking. I think it may be closer to the water. I can't remember. Water DLC. Oh my goodness, water DLC would be so good. Kind of like how in 15 we got the royal boat. Gotta wait for the Levy DLC for that. Isn't that the truth? Wouldn't that be amazing, DLC? Give me a boat. I never got FF games on your Super Nintendo. Only had a few RPGs like Breath of Fire. Played a lot of Zelda, Link to the Past, Super Metroid before your SNES got destroyed. Only in PS1 era, where I was around 10, 11 when you played your first Final Fantasy VIII. Went back to play the FF ports. I'll say the loading times. Oh boy, loading times for the because you played the ports on PS1. I bet the loading times were something. That was a benefit of cartridge based back then. Though we have cartridges on Switch and there's still loading times there.
How much did you get?
5.
I hope.
I got 5 Stardust. Do 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 do.
More than me. Put it all together and I can't see Blackthorn complaining.
Much.
Here, Clive. Do you fancy a walk?
I love walks. With my best friend Otto.
Sid would be proud.
Of what?
Of you, you idiot. The way you've carried on what he started. When we first met, I had you down as a spoilt little puppy who enjoyed nothing more than biting the hand that fed you. But 5 years on, you're the one doing the feeding. So thanks for proving me wrong.
You weren't wrong. But I changed. Thanks to Sid. And thanks to you. When I suggested taking on his name, you were the first to back me. And if you hadn't, No one else would have. I couldn't have done any of this without you, Otto.
Yo, give over. You're making me blush. All I did was choose hope over despair. I gave you a chance, yes, but you're the one who took it.
All I did was choose hope over despair. Gosh, that's so
You
good.
took a rabble of homeless, hopeless outcasts and put them back on their feet. Gave them something worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Just like the old Cid did.
Yeah, and I love that. And again, it kind of goes to what we were saying earlier about the power of Euangelion and the power of good news.
About time I was heading back, I reckon. All this scrabbling about in the sand's taken its toll on the old pins.
I'll see you back at the hideaway then. You can take a well-earned rest when you get there.
Oh, I plan to. Believe you me. But I'll make sure Blackthorn gets his precious black sand before I put my feet up. He'll only moan.
Karuai, yes. Yes. What a phrase. Heck yeah. No real gaming. Thanks for the lurk, bud. Hope you're doing well. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but thanks for hopping in. Hope you're doing great. Okay, back to Blackthorn. See all those side quests that we're not doing right now? I love these side quests because they really do give us at the ground level of all of this stuff. What's the impact of the things that Clive is doing? And that's so important. I didn't really think about this before this lecture stream tonight. But I love this idea of Euangelion with this. I love the idea of what does good news and fresh, quote, revelation in a community do for the pathos, the mythos, the logos of a community, and I love it.
Blackthorn, got everything you need.
Yeah.
You can hear it. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. Well,
Cheers for
as
the
you
breakfast.
eat, love having you in the chat. Great to see you.
Nice to get out and about for once.
Karu, I agree 100%. Just a few little gameplay distinctions would have made it next level of the side
It'll take
quest.
some time, mind. So if you've got other things to be getting on with, I could do without you breathing down my neck.
Thank you, Blackthorn. I'll let Mid know construction's underway.
Yeah, and lady, I think that you hit the nail on the head. These interpersonal, intimate moments in the game amid all the spectacle and bonkers plot points really make it a beautiful balance.
Give us a shout if you need anything.
We will do our best not to spoil things that are currently being remade, though, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Of course, we don't totally know exactly where it's all going, so...
What do you need?
Not with any certainty.
What's saying Fordian, do you?
Enhancer, a new sword. I need a new
Bad,
sword.
if I do say so myself.
And I do.
Yeah, I should do you.
Diamond sword.
And?
I'll have to do some grinding for that. Oh, back to mid, back to mid. Nope, not that way. Folks, like I said earlier, this is going to be a shorter stream tonight, so I'm probably going to go for just a little bit longer. But we are not going to get all the way to Bahamut. Ah, thank you. I do need potions. I always need potions. Thank you, lady. A short one tonight because of two reasons. I mentioned this a little bit earlier at the top of the chat. But I thank you for asking the question because it was it's important for me to say it regularly. So short chat tonight because I got up at 3 a.m. this morning and I'm a little tired. I just could not sleep, so I beat Tears of the Kingdom instead because I couldn't sleep. I don't know what it was. And then also I'm having to prolong these streams tonight, Thursday, and next Tuesday before we get to a certain part, because I'm actually going to cosplay the following week during one specific chapter in this game. So cosplaying as Bahamut Dion. So get excited for that. And anyway, I'm doing it then because the cosplay will be ready. Sounds like you're every day. Yeah. I'm not much of a 3 a.m. kind of guy. Wish I was. Earliest I get is between 5 and 6. So. Sephiroth final form becomes biblically accurate angel. All eyes, baby. All eyes.
The helm, of course.
The helm.
For this, we'll be repurposing fallen scrap.
Salvage from the ruins.
Why do you get up so early, Norel? 3 a.m.? Oof.
But we don't have to.
I'm sorry.
Just so happens there's one particular ruin that's broken into exactly the right shape and size pieces for what we need. What's the name back there? I'll give you all the details.
Am I saying that right, by the way? Norel or Norel? Is it almost like 2 words? Right. Or is it Norel? Oops, wrong way. Do you remember the old Nickel Creek song, Helena?
Oh, Sid, is this about the...
I gotcha.
Yes. Mid said I should speak with you.
I'll show you the plan.
Norel, got it.
Mithril engine in which mithril is burned to generate heat. That heat is then harnessed to produce motive force. Excess heat is dealt with by means of the thermal displacement stack, which disperses it into the surrounding air. Now, were we to rely on thermal plating alone to achieve this effect, the rate of excess heat buildup would far exceed the displacement coefficient of the plating. In other words, the reactor would overheat and eventually explode. This is where the helm comes in. It connects to the plating, you see, and serves as a sort of thermal sink to absorb all that excess energy. Our experiments have shown that fallen ceramics are remarkably thermophilic. They can withstand and absorb levels of heat far above anything we are able to make today.
Some dude I'm so excited to hear. I'm so excited to hear.
Making them the perfect material for our protective hood. Why? If sea or rainwater were to
I cannot
enter
wait.
the reactor proper, it would vaporize.
I think we're gonna have a great conversation about Odin. I think we're gonna have a pretty good one about Bahamut as well.
You can stop there. I understand. Mid said we might be able to use parts of a fallen ruin. Where would I find it?
Ah, yes. It's in Lorbert's Pass near Lostwing. The thing is, well, I probably should have arranged to have the pieces we need brought here sooner. You see, a certain unwanted visitor has taken up residence there. It's no longer a matter of just walking in and taking them. It's, going to be considerably more dangerous than that.
I see. Then I suppose I'd better deal with this unwanted visitor for you. Would that help?
Oh, very much. Thank you, Sid.
50 Shades, yeah. You're right.
We'll meet you outside the ruins.
They absolutely are giving some BioShock Infinite vibes there. Yeah. That's cool. I didn't think about that. Are you into engineering? Is that it? When I look at schematics and things like that, I immediately begin to stress out a little bit. Make for Lobert's Pass. Got it. Okay, Lobert's Pass. Meanwhile, the humanities brain, yeah. That's what was so terrifying to me when I found out that Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda, was going to have some of this building stuff, but then it ended up being awesome. But that was a little daunting to me. Lost Wing. Gosh, you remember when we were here last, everybody? That was a good lecture. By the way, thanks for turning me on to this angle and thinking about the game. Oh, that's awesome. I am so glad that you're enjoying it. Yeah, these were things that I was thinking about, and a lot of it does tie in a little bit to my work in Final Fantasy XV. And so when we get into that, you will be hyper ready for some of those conversations. Now, what I'll say is that the divine attribute stuff is secondary to some of the stuff that's going on with Noctis in that game. But in this game, it is front and center. And I'm excited about getting into... once we learn about all of the different gods, what exactly is that going to look like and what is that going to mean? Because that's where the conversation gets, I think, really, really good. There's so much I want to say, but I'm having to hold back a little bit, and it's going to be good. I was more focused on the more direct parallels, like Original Sin, the Tower of Babel, theory about the Holy Trinity being in there. Ooh, are we at a place where we can talk about that yet? Or is that something that we're going to hold off on? I love that stuff. We will definitely get some of those more direct allegories. You will see more of that direct stuff in 15, by the way. 16 is more philosophy-based, which is cool, but... My dad's a car man, so he dabbles in the rebuilding of older model cars, so schematics always caught your attention. Heck yeah, I love that. Such huge respect for anybody that does that kind of work. Like, I have trouble fixing a door handle, so people that like rebuild old cars, that's awesome.
The creature I told you about, I'd imagine. Would you mind?
I would love to. I just got a new sword. Time to sharpen it. Let's do it. Like you, I will reluctantly hold it in. Relatable, you know? Relatable.
Anybody home?
Anybody home? Torgal. Oh, it's you. I do hate these guys. Let's do it.
Time to go.
70? Oh my gosh, I am woefully underleveled at this point. Get out of there! Ooh. Ow! Dodge. Okay, right into the tree. We love that. Okay, let's play this game. Oh crap, I missed him! Oh, I missed him! And I didn't get potions. I wasn't expecting to fight anybody either, but... Okay, let's see if we can do this. I didn't know you could hide behind thin tree either, but, you know, whatever. Potion posted. That is what I need for real, though. For real. Alright, let's do it. Dion is way too real. Man, I love Dion so much. He is a phenomenal character. Love him. The one he's working on now is a 15 Mustang. A 65 Mustang, sorry. And I've convinced him to name it the Regalia. Real talk. I had a an Audi. S5 during my Final Fantasy XV obsession years. And one day it broke down on the side of the road, just like theirs. And if you think I didn't get a picture made, then you don't know me at all. There we go. Come on. You did have I did not have a boy band of bros to help me push it. That was pretty upsetting, actually, that I didn't. Look at this. You guys, look at this. I did not get hit once in that fight. Potions. Are you kidding me? We're getting better, everybody. We're getting better.
The things I do for you, Mid.
I chatted and didn't die. Yes, that's a big win for us, chat. That was amazing.
Any trouble now?
I always die. Because I'm
Don't let us
chatting.
keep you.
Not tonight, though.
See
Not
that
today,
everything was
Satan.
transported safely back to
Professional Noctis back in the house.
I'll let Mid know you're on your way.
What a time, everybody. What a time. You know, it's terrifying when you see the Roman numerals in quests letting off steam 2. Because I was not reading a wall of text. Isn't that the truth? I always tell my students, hey, get off your phones in class, but I'm proof that you can chat and pay attention and lecture even. Report back to Mid. Da, 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 da. All right, I think we got one more quick quest and then maybe the end of this quest line, and that'd be a nice place to stop tonight, so that your boy can get some sleep. Also some dinner. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I say a short stream, but like an hour of streaming isn't like super short. It's no 5 to 6 hour stream like we pulled a few weeks ago. Bianca Del Rio GIF, not today, Satan. Not today. I jump everywhere in games where I can jump. It's like rolling in Zelda. You have to.
Helena has recovered the material for the helm.
Helena,
She'll be along shortly.
don't walk
Another job well
away.
done.
And just one remaining.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup. What a good night for that. I don't know where you are, but it's kind of cold here. I'm in my hoodie.
The plating's enough to stop the engines going pop, but those things will
That
still
sounds
be spitting out
delicious.
fire to set the rest of the ship ablaze. Which is why you need proper shielding.
You need proper
For
shielding.
the dragon's breath that's blazing away inside. I thought a triple thick layer of tempered steel might do it. Or more of the stuff that the Fallen use, but they'd both be too heavy. The helm and the plating are bulky enough as it is. Add any more weight and the whole ship would be at the bottom of the briny before we'd even started.
The bottom of the
I need
briny.
something light. But I've wrapped my brains and I just can't think what would do it.
Well, if I were in need of obscure knowledge, I know whose counsel I would seek.
Hippocrates.
Tomes? Yeah, well, I'd thought of that, obviously. I've got all the details written down here. Can you take this to him? See what he makes of it?
Oh, Mid. I think that the thing that bogged me down in these side quests, because they're not side quests, first of all, but these main stories quests, is the number of side quests that I was doing in between them. And that just like destroyed the pacing. Destroyed it. A bit chilly where you are? Yeah, it's a perfect place for it. Perfect time for it, then. I love a grilled cheese and tomato soup. Now, do you do like tons of pepper in your tomato soup or salt, or do you add anything, or is it just straight up tomato soup? Yeah, after Titan, if you do everything, it's hours before you get back to the plot. See, that was the thing. Like, and I spent, as soon as a quest would open up my first time, I would do it immediately. Grilled cheese and chili. Am I the only one not having grilled cheese and some kind of soup tonight? Man, I gotta do that. I'm getting hungry right now, too. You had popcorn? Hey, listen, there ain't nothing wrong with popcorn. It's not a well-balanced meal, but I love popcorn.
Well, actually, it's
Movie theater butter or some specialty or your regular butter, original salt? What's your go-to with popcorn? Kettle corn! Woo, you fancy. No, I mean, that's what sounds good to you. Oh, today's Taco Tuesday. Okay, it does sound good. Yeah.
Whatever will that girl think of next?
Food and sleep are two very Noctis
Notes
activities.
around the edges.
Ah,
She has some
tacos.
specific requirements for the materials. The shielding needs to be able to resist extreme heat on the inside, and yet remain cool
Don't
enough
worry,
on the
like you have
outside
yet
not
to eat
set
dinner
the
at all. Well,
sugar
we have. My
while
stomach
also
is
being light enough just in
growling
case.
right now.
As you can imagine,
I'm so hungry.
she's struggling to find anything that meets her needs.
I see.
I wondered if you might know of a solution, or if you might be able to.
You were
search
gifted
directly
10
for one.
pounds of taco meat? Holy smokes.
Perhaps it is not a different material she requires, but a different approach.
10 pounds of taco meat? That's bonkers.
Consider the lake we have made our home. Its blighted waters eat away far more quickly than fresh water or even brine, at timber and
No.
steel alike.
That's Taco October.
We have made a home here from those
Taco.
very
I tried to make it
materials
work.
nonetheless.
Talktober?
Have. But part of
Talktober.
furnish every board
There it is.
over to
Tacotober.
rotting.
That's better.
An obelisk complains that without a constant supply of pitch. I see.
Early Gregorian histories speak of a preparation known as
Pinch of
moon
salt, decent amount of pepper, basil. Ah, that's the key ingredient there, basil.
Before the dragoons
Some cheese,
tamed the
yeah.
worms and wyverns of the realm, nobles would daub their castle walls with it in order to guard against dragonfire.
So if we could recreate it,
it might be applied to some material or other in order to provide the protection it requires.
Taco Mama from the Uni Mall.
Perhaps Bardolph and Obelisk might be of assistance. I shall speak to them.
Taco
and see
Mama
what
is a
wisdom they
good
might have to
choice.
offer. If you would be so kind as to
Ooh,
procure
I
the
could make
necessary ingredients,
minestrone. Now there's an idea. That's
how it might be
more
most
balanced than a
effectively put to
popcorn.
use with our two friends.
Yep,
The
yep.
knowledge of the past may yet prove useful to we of the modern era.
thank you, Hippocrates. And since you're
Thank
asking
you,
others to help
Hippocrates. Never heard of Taco Mama? It may just be an Alabama thing. No, I think it's in Tennessee too. Minestrone sounds so good.
So you need a hand, do you?
We do.
Not as much as Titan does.
We're
Heyo.
heading to market for the ingredients we need. I could do with some help. And some company too.
The other can assist me in researching how best to
Oh.
myself.
Can we count on your aid?
Can we count on your aid?
Always. Well, if Jill's game.
Thank you.
I am sure either of these fine young minds would prove indispensable in my research. I leave the decision as to who will
As
guide
much
me
as I love
in
Jill,
more
I
capable
picked her the
hands,
first
lad.
time, so I'm gonna pick Tarya. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Listen, Tarya, you're coming with me. Don't talk to Jill. Talk to Tarya. Or maybe I speak back with Hippocrates. Never mind.
So, Clive, have you made your decision?
Oh,
Who will
wall of
accompany you
text.
on your
Good thing I'm not
little
fighting. Tarya, you're with me.
All right.
6, 7, 8,
So,
9 side
what
quests
are we
great because you went
fetching?
out of your way to find those side quests and get
I have
amazing
taken the
rewards
liberty
for
of
it.
preparing a
Yes.
list.
It expands stories for characters. Yes. The side quest in 16 is mixed bag.
Sure this
Yeah.
is the right list. Looks like the ingredients for someone's supper.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mentioned a few pieces of that in my recent video on why side quests work or don't.
For which they were once
And
highly
yeah,
prized.
that's
So much so, in fact, that they
It's
were
a great
harvested
point. There's no
to
player
extinction.
agency to
Hence
walk
being
out of
used
your
and
way.
fallen from
There's no
favour.
discoverability,
Now, of course,
right?
they can be obtained with ease. You should be able to find everything you need at the market in Northreach.
Well, isn't that convenient? I was hoping to be able to make a trip over that way sometime soon. Need to speak to an old acquaintance. I'll meet you there.
Great, Tarya. Let's go speak to an old acquaintance. Let's do it. Okay, this will be the last thing that we do tonight.
Good luck with your research.
Bye, Jill. No hard feelings about me leaving you for Tarya. Jill is not amused. What's up, Pasabla?
No. Where's Talia?
There's talk.
Toya, I found you.
Need to stock up on these.
Herbs.
Ah, and there you are. We shouldn't have any problems finding what we need in a place like this.
A market.
But if time is of the essence, perhaps we should split up. Take a few items each.
All right.
That's what I do.
Let's
DoorDash
see now.
or shipped.
Why don't you take the garlic and the pepio nuts? Meet me by the gate when you've got them.
I don't think I ever would have called those pepio nuts. I think every time I've ever seen that spelled, I would have called it PPO nuts.
Oi, don't touch anything. And
Let's go ahead and buy a high potion while we're at it.
take it.
Jill will remember this. Yes! That's a deep reference. Telltale Games. I love that. 90% of the rewards are inconsequential. Yes, you're right.
Can I interest you in today?
I do not want the Gatterdamarang. No, I don't want to sell that.
Fighting the good fight.
I almost
Any
sold
friend
my
of the
sword.
innkeeper is a friend of mine. Ah, yes.
That should do it.
I should do it.
Tie is finished too.
The Chocobo 1 potion upgrades, those were good. Those were good quests. And the story parts are cool, the world building. But you want a little bit more gameplay diversity. You want a little bit more discoverability of your own, you know? One thing that does drive me crazy about this game, just a nitpick, I love this game. But it is,
Get this back to Tomes then. He'll be waiting.
I would love to turn off the UI so that I don't see these blaring green arrows. I'd love to discover it, right?
We're not in too much of a rush, are we? Quick chat.
I'd love to quick chat. Let's do it. I've actually never seen this. I'm going to pay attention.
Do you know, I think this is the very first time we've been out on an errand together.
You are correct.
I think you might be right.
In all the years since you and that scowl of yours first appeared, you haven't invited me out once. For shame.
JV, I agree.
Seemed long
Yeah.
overdue. And you did say you had some shopping to do.
Especially in some of the stuff that we're going to do next stream on Thursday. Yeah.
Yes. You and Jill alone
I felt
burned
like
through
that
them like
becomes a little
wildfire.
bit
Now look,
optionally.
though, my usual supplier's not here, and I refuse to pay the prices these gougers charge.
I'll ask Karen when we get back. What is it?
Oh, just memories.
Memories.
I came here with Sid once, shopping for supplies, just like today. And just like today, I came away empty-handed. Sid even said he'd speak to Karen for me when we got back.
Oh.
Has it really been 5 years? I remember it as if it was yesterday. Hold on. Does that mean it's been 5 years since we met? Feels a lot longer.
It does. In a good way, of course. Thank you, Tyre.
For what?
For everything. I just want you to know that all you've done for us,
Good leader,
you
Clive.
still do. It's appreciated.
Love this guy.
Do you think I'd stick around if I thought it wasn't? But in the spirit of sharing and caring, you're appreciated too.
Oh,
By all of us.
this is very sweet. They're just friends, you guys. God, don't make it weird.
Well, I think we've tarried long enough. I ought to get these ingredients back to Tomes so he can make up this concoction of his.
What if they call
I'll
him
meet you back at the
Tomes?
hideaway, all right?
All right.
I'm just going to call somebody Books.
I heard you the first time.
All right, let's return it to Tomes, and then I think we are going to do a wrap up tonight. Save some heavy lifting for Thursday. Tarya's time skip outfit is cool. Dandelions in the wind. Man,
I wonder how Hippocrates is getting on with the moon dew.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm never drinking again, no matter whose funeral it is. Tarya's awesome.
How's work
I
on the
kind
field
of
progressing,
preferred the old
Hippocrates?
haircut too.
Well, very well indeed. And thanks in no small part to your kind assistance. I was just explaining to Tarya how we might best go about preparing the moon dew. And now that we have all the ingredients, we may begin.
You can count on me. I've mixed more than a few mysterious concoctions in my time.
I'm sure you have.
What
about the shielding
charged?
itself?
I'm sure you have.
Work is underway, under the watchful eyes of Bardolph and Obolus.
Apparently, it'll be ready soon.
Thank you.
All of you.
All of you.
Right then. Jill, would you join me in the infirmary? Many hands make light work and all that.
Of course.
Tarya's kind of Lady of the Lake, isn't she? That's kind of cool.
Oh, and Clive.
Yes.
It was good to talk. We should do it again sometime.
Ho ho ho. Scandal in the hideaway, Tarya.
It appears our work here is almost at an end. A shame. I was enjoying playing the man of action for once. When both the shielding and the moon dew are ready, it will merely be a matter of applying the one to the other. Followed by a rigorous process of testing and retesting, of course. Perhaps someone ought to warn young Mid of that.
Leave it to me.
Leave it to me.
Thank you, Hippocrates.
Letting off steam.
Well, I'd better go and give Mid the good news then.
Alright, let's go report to Mid real quick, and then we shall call that a night after this scene right here. There are some Arthur parallels. Kind of interesting also that they put the sword in the stone as a covenant of their bond and their mission calling versus pulling it out of the stone. Just wish that it was harder. 7R hard mode. I do love 7R combat. And it looks like Rebirth is going to be even better. But I like the action of this too. Like it's also really good.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mid. But you'll be pleased to know that work on the shielding is underway.
You found something for it?
In a manner of speaking.
It's a little janky, yeah.
Hippocrates knew of a substance that's highly resistant to heat. A coating that should provide the protection you need. He's supervising the construction and testing of the shielding as we speak.
Brilliant! I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Don't thank me. I'm just the errand boy.
Just the
Right
errand
then,
boy.
better start working out how to bolt all these bits together. To the Black Hammer!
Yeah, I agree, JV. Yeah.
You know, when I got into the smithing game, I thought I'd be making swords and shields, not thermal bleeding didgeridoo-dahs.
Didgeridoo-dahs.
Displacement stacks.
Same difference. Whatever you call it, I ain't putting it together in here. It's cramped enough as it is. Let's take this outside. Mid, you get all the parts lined up on the
Take
deck.
this outside.
I'll take care of the rest.
On my way!
Oh, and bring me the biggest hammer you can find. This is going to require some precision walloping.
Precision walloping. That's some precision walloping. Sometime later. Well, we built a boat. Kind of. No, we built an engine.
It's finished. It's finally finished.
Fuck for that. I've been feeling my hammer arm for weeks.
Thank you, Clive, Blackthorn, everyone.
Everyone.
That's one down and just 3 more to go.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Oh, didn't I tell you? The Enterprise has 4 mithril engines and we'll be needing a displacement stack.
This girl, man.
You don't mean...
Don't worry. Now they've got a finished one to work off. My gang in Canva can build the rest.
Good luck to them, I say. Right, I'm off to get a sling for this elbow.
Ha.
When the work comes in, keep it to yourselves, eh?
Precious. Sweet. Okay, last speak to mid.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Just daydreaming. Thinking about the Enterprise sailing off over the horizon to shores unknown. Searching for a land untouched by the Blight. Just like me and my dad planned. So if the worst came to the worst and every scrap of soil in the Twins turned black, we might still have a chance.
Yeah, Kuru, I agree. That's a good prank.
Just in case we needed it. But now she's so close to being finished, I've realized I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be just a lifeboat for us to cling to if things get desperate. I want people to sail aboard her by choice, not from the lack of it. In a world where we're not just trying to survive, but where we can actually live.
I'm working on that.
We can actually live.
To get you what you want.
Don't you always? All right. My mind's made up. As soon as the Enterprise is fit to sail, I'm putting her under your command. Sod our plans. I'm trusting in yours.
Are you sure about this?
Something tells me it's what my dad would have wanted.
He'd be proud of you.
You were gonna visit his grave, weren't you?
I was. And you can come too now that your little project is finished.
Right. There's just one thing I need to finish up first. Won't be a mo.
All right.
Won't be a mo.
I'll let Otto know you're coming.
Well, actually, this is
Eat it to
the
the mess
perfect
when
thing
you're
for
ready.
us to end on. So
Aye,
we'll end
Captain.
here on this this final piece. What are my feelings on For the After Years? Funny story, I've not played it, or I've beaten it. I've not beaten it, but okay. Let's speak with Otto, and then we're gonna talk for about 3 minutes, and then we're gonna go eat.
All right, Clive. Asterix. Mid finished sending half the hideaway traipsing across the Twins, has she? I swear, that girl'd do anything to put off visiting her old dad's grave.
I would say the Pixel Remaster is the best version of 4
Not quite.
available.
She said there was one final thing she had to take care of.
That one's a great one.
She'll be finished soon enough.
She said that, in those words.
She did, yes.
Clive, were you born yesterday or something? There is no thing. She'll probably be halfway to Canva by now.
Mid. I might still be able to catch her.
You won't. She's gone forever.
Is that the thing Tomes held?
Obelus, have you seen Mid?
Yep. In a boat, going that way.
Oh, Mid.
Then I'm too late.
You in a hurry and all.
Lee and both of those are great.
I offered to take her across, but she wouldn't wait. Just paid for a dinghy and
The
rowed
Pixel
off.
Remaster is
All's
phenomenal. The
going like
music
a
alone
clappers.
is just like...
Got some life in her, ain't she? But anyway, I was on my way up to see you.
As it
Got
happens.
a letter for you. Urgent, by the sound of it. One of your uncle's men said I was to hand it to you in person, post-bleeding haste.
Post-bleeding
And
haste.
you're here now.
Thank you, Obelus.
Don't mention it.
What tidings, Uncle?
What tidings? My journey to Canver, resounding success. The friend I mentioned not only agreed to share the contents of the strongbox, certain young friend of yours, though I for one believe Miss Telemon's project to be quite the valiant enterprise. Haha, I doubt the Canverian authorities will take kindly to that. Okay, which is why I pin you this note. I'd like to borrow your man Gav for a moon or two. Okay, you want Gav, got it.
Trouble in Canva. Well, I'll need someone to keep an eye on Mid.
Fair enough. Bye, Gav.
So what? Mid got us to do all the dirty work and then just sailed off into the sunset?
Yes, she did.
It seems that way.
Well, nothing we can do about it now. But next time you plan on visiting Sid, you might want to tie her to something before you suggest it.
Ah, don't be so hard on her. Gotta admit, the dirty work was kind of fun. Everyone pitching in, all that bollocks.
All that bollocks.
Just like when we built this place.
You're right.
Anyway, we all set to head to the old hideaway. I could do with getting to Canva pretty sharpish. Wouldn't do to keep Lord Rosfield of the Seven High Houses waiting now, would it? Not after he asked for me personally.
Gav will be leaving with me. Will you mind the place while we're gone?
You can count on me. Just be sure to give Sid and the others my regards. All right.
Oh, by the way, Jill will be joining us too. She's got some
Of
things
course
to
she
take
is.
care of, but she'll meet us there.
I hope she's telling the truth at least.
So, going to the old hideaway here, this is a great moment for us to close on. They just kept talking. I kept saying that maybe we were going to, but yeah, we're going to see this cutscene called Sid's Legacy, and this is where we will end tonight. But I want to remind you that tonight's stream has been all about. Let me zoom in. Tonight's stream has been all about this idea of Euangelion, which is the Greek word for good news. It is gospel, is where we get that, and it's also the word where we get the word evangelize or evangelism. With the news of Hugo Kupka's death, we begin to see Clive, because of this new revelation, there's hope restored to the hideaway. They feel a sense of safety. They feel a sense of hope. Again, I mean, that's the best way of saying it. And we see their entire fortunes kind of turn. So one of the things that I love about this and what it means to our larger sort of conversation regarding religion and philosophy of religion is this message of why do religions, why do communities center on these formative stories or mythos to convey hope, right? It's not just saying, hey, have hope, but it's hope that's couched in a tale or a fable or a story, and I absolutely love that. And so the news that Hugo has been defeated, it's similar to the news for the Israelites that Persia has overthrown the Babylonians, there's a hope or a possibility that they may be returning home. There's hope when one king is undone by another. There's hope when there's a change in leadership and stuff like that. And these stories give them reason to hope. I think in terms of one of the classic stories of the ancient Near East, and it's the idea of a divine king, also called a Messiah, specifically in Judaism. And it's this idea that this is the Messiah that will take them back to their land and give them safety and sovereignty as a people. We see traces of that in what Sid was doing, and then finally with what Clive has been able to accomplish by overcoming Titan. We're going to watch this cutscene, and we're going to talk about this legacy of evangelism, this Euangelion, this delivering of good news to a people that have been in darkness for so long. So with that, let's watch this scene and think about the importance of Euangelion. There's always hope in Hope Time. Love the 13 references. Notice these symbols and relics that pay homage to Cid and his legacy, right? Almost sacred, ritualistic community relics.
Well, Cid, I remember what you told me. But if no one is listening to what you have to say, you may as well not say it. But I will say this, old friend. Hugo Kuka is gone. His shadow looms over us no longer.
It's a pity the Phoenix can't be in two places at once. If he'd have been with us, maybe he could have done something for the lost.
Not even the Phoenix can bring people back from the dead. Life has a beginning and an end.
It does, some dude. That's
so
good.
We must live while we have the chance. And not as slaves to the crystals, but as free men.
May we join you?
Lady Karen, what a pleasant surprise.
I thought I'd drop by and see how you were all doing before heading off to restock my supplies.
She does make the clank noises, you know? I love that.
It wasn't the most scenic view back then, but it were never as bad as this.
I know. The Blight marches on. And soon, there will be no escaping sights like these. So our mission remains unchanged. We cannot stop until every Mother Crystal is gone, and their thirst for ether with them. The only one that remains in Storm is Drake's Tail in the Crystalline Dominion.
Our next target.
We're going to Twinside.
It's the capital of the Empire these days. I wouldn't like to think how tightly guarded they've got the place. Not that that'll stop you, but we do well to scout it out before you go charging in.
We would indeed.
If you're off to the Dominion, you can take this great lump with you.
Oh, good.
Goods.
Oh, I am sorry. Have you forgotten you're the most wanted man in the Twins? I thought you might like to disguise yourselves as the attendants of a travelling trader, assuming you've no better ideas. You wanted to buy yourself some tools, didn't you? Well, now's your chance.
Good.
You letting me go
With them.
Oh, thanks, Nan.
I love that guy.
Stop that! You break me bones, you great galoot.
Galoot. Going on an adventure.
There's a caravan that runs back and forth between the Dominion and the Bocklad markets. It's managed by the Merchants Guild. Just show them Goots' traders pass and you'll be on your way. It'll be a damn sight less risky than footing it the length of the Crystal Road. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen / Nan.
Glad to have you with us, Goot.
Okay then. I'll get me things and I'll meet yous there.
This guy.
See yous down in Buck, lad.
See yous down. I love that guy.
Jill, you're with me.
Understood.
Torgal, obviously you're with me.
Already on my way, Captain.
Be careful.
Aren't I always?
Just us and the dog. See, that's a great scene for us to end on tonight.
Do you see that, Sid? Your protege's making a proper little outlaw of himself.
Don't you love that? And I think that this scene shows maybe more than any of the others this idea of legacy that's conveyed in this game, right? That the message, the stories that they are telling are continuing because of the belief in the stories and what the stories mean for them. Clive is constantly referred to as Mythos, and Mythos in Greek, as we've talked about already, it is the idea of the stories, the tales, the fables of myth, and it's not just stories for entertainment value, but these are stories that have some practical truth, and that truth or practicality to them, the Greeks would call that the logos, and we're going to talk about that in several more streams moving forward. What I love here is that Clive is embodying that mythos of Sid, that mythos of the provider, and he's even continuing that message, that legacy. He's finishing the work that Sid started, and you see this as a rallying point. I think this is why religious communities continue to tell the stories, right? Whether you're in a Christian or Jewish community, Hindu community, Buddhist community, there are formative stories that connect and tie the religious community together. The Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Islam, all of these religions have these stories that they tell and they retell and they retell to new generations so that they remember the foundation of how they got to where they currently are. And it's an impetus for how do you live as a result of that. And that is stuff for future lectures. But tonight is a good reminder. They weren't just running around doing some things for mid. Clive was showing them we don't have to live in fear anymore, and the new story is that Hugo Kupka is dead, and because of that, we can get back to business. We don't have to sleep with one eye open anymore, and that is a good Euangelion. That is truly good news. Everybody, it's been great being with you tonight. I am going to go get some eats and some sleeps because your boy tired and your boy hungry, but not in that order. So I hope that you have a fantastic Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday night. Whatever you do, stay safe, everybody. Get those eats, get those sleeps. And remember, we are in one of the best gaming weeks of the year. Sonic Superstars came out today. Mario Wonder comes out Friday. Spider-Man 2 comes out Friday. We got lots of great things to get excited about this week. No talks about angels and robots. We did not talk about that. This is Euangelion. You're right. Or Evangelion in that respect. So, all right, everybody. See you on Thursday. Have a great night. Bye, everybody. It's been so fun. Join the Discord if you haven't. Night, y'all.